Hey everyone, Sparks back with another Girls Frontline 2 Exilium video, and as you can see, I am not home, but we got the official announcement for our next unit coming to Girls Frontline 2, so I wanted to make this video to get it out there so you guys can know what's up. So it is Makiatto. Now Makiatto is a ice DPS that is considered to be very powerful in the CN version. We weren't really expecting her to get this soon, although it kind of seemed like maybe because we got Suomi so soon. So if you're building an ice team, this is both good news and bad news. Good news because she's considered to be one of the best DPS out there, even in CN. And she's going to have great synergy with Suomi because she's also a really OP ice unit. So cool, right? But also huge strain on your resources. This also officially confirms what I've said before, that we are probably not following the CN schedule. They're mixing it up. We don't know if we're getting banners like more rapidly or not, or if they're just changing the order. We'll kind of see what happens long term. This one is going to start on December 26 and then go into December 15. Now, Macchiato, I will probably skip. I'll talk more about that towards the end. But let's take a look at what her official skills say from their post anyway. Unfortunately, it's not complete information, so I'll also be referring to information from various sites that have posted the official CN kits as well. So she is a Sentinel, which means she is going to be that DPS class, which is great. But she is also a rifle user, which means she has the terrible slow four square movement, but she has the super long range because she is a rifle user. So you can liken her very similar to like Mosin Nagant, but she's probably just going to be like a higher damage Mosin Nagant. Different element though. Mosin does electric damage or stun damage or whatever it's called, and then Macchiato is an ice unit. So she's got her normal skill, of course, deals physical damage. Okay, that's her basic attack. And then her second skill says cold precision shot. Active targeted debuff deals freeze damage, increases the critical damage of this attack, and gains 1 stack of cold conviction for each instance of damage dealt. Okay, cool, but honestly, we're not really seeing the whole picture here. So one of the things that CN players really recommend is that you get a dupe of her. And the reason for that is because this skill gets upgraded quite a bit. So if you have one dupe of her, and again, like with Suomi, you wanted one dupe of her. So if you're building that ice team, 2 OP units in a row where you got to get one dupe, it's a little bit rough. But if you have the one dupe, it changes the skill so it no longer increases that crit damage like normal, but instead it's going to deal 2 instances of damage, which is already amazing, right? Because you're gonna like double your damage. But it says it's gonna deal 2 instances of damage, and if the first damage instance crits, then it increases the crit rate and crit damage on the second damage. So crit rate goes up to 100%, so you're guaranteed to crit on the second hit, and it increases crit damage by 80%. So massive boost in damage. This definitely means you're probably going to want to go for attachments on her weapon that have the crit stat on it, so you can get as high of a chance to crit on that first hit, maybe even 100%, and then you're just going to deal massive damage with her all the time. So you only get that effect if you have a dupe, however. Okay, remember the base level skill just hits one enemy for ice damage, still for quite a bit of damage, and increases that crit damage, but then you don't get that whole second effect and the guaranteed crit. So just keep that in mind. She gets a huge power buff if you go ahead and get that second dupe, or the first dupe, a second copy. And then her second skill, or third skill, if we're including her basic attack, is called Professional Tactics. Tactics? What does that mean? Tactics. Active target and debuff, deals physical damage, gains Confectance Index, and gains Standard Approach. Okay, so this is not as OP of a skill as her previous skill that we talked about, but let's see, what does Standard Approach do? Standard Approach... I have to look this up again. Maybe I should have written this down before I started recording. So we'll come back to that in the comments. If you can define standard approach, please do so. I forgot what it meant. I literally researched this right before recording, and then somehow didn't decide to write down the definition of standard approach. So anyway, but anything that generates confection index is going to be useful for sure. Also, going back to that first skill, for the cold conviction, the one that we were talking about before. Let's go ahead and define that. Unless I didn't write this down in my notes either. Yo, fail on that. All right, let's go back to her main kit here. I'm totally disorganized because I'm not in my normal recording setup. All right, let's take a look at her ultimate. Absolute mental defense. Ultimate buff, interception debuff. Gains frost barrier and alert. All right, I can define frost barrier for you. That's going to give herself her own shield, very similar to like how Suomi gives frost barriers. So again, you're going to get more synergy there. You're going to have, the barrier up all the time, which is going to give her extremely good durability. If you guys have used Suomi, you know how tanky units get with that frost barrier. So this is going to give Makiatto just major sustainability, plus the fact she is a sniper unit or a rifle unit, so she has that long range, so she's not even going to get hit that often if we're being real. But even if she is, she will tank quite a bit. And then her passive skill says increases crit rate by reduces critical damage at the start of the turn if Makiatto's HP exceeds 80%, gains insight and steady progress until the next turn. So again, more buffs. And then when attacking a target with frozen or frigid rather, ignores parts of their stability index and deals increased damage. These effects cannot stack. So those are the ones that keep the enemy from moving, I believe. I did make notes on this. Please tell me I did. Yes, so that is going to keep them from moving. Now, unlike some other effects that actually keep units from attacking, but it will keep them from moving. So again, more ice synergy there. So bottom line is, should you pull for her? Well, she's really, really strong, particularly if you haven't built Mosin Nagant, or you're not building Nemesis. I mean, she's probably going to way outclass Nemesis. She's going to be a really strong Sentinel rifle user. Also, if you're trying to build a full ice team and you're pulled for Suomi, I would probably go for her as well. But she gets way better. Again, her big, kind of like big draw is that second skill that is guaranteed to hit twice, or will hit twice and then have massive critical damage on that second hit. So she's gonna just annihilate enemies with that. So if you can't, make sure you're going for the second copy, maybe don't pull for her. But again, if she's your waifu, I always say pull for the units that you like to pull for. But she is certainly a very, very strong DPS. Has great survivability, again, thanks to getting that shield. Being able to inflict, the cold or frost status effect that keeps enemies from moving is also really, really good just for some crowd control, especially because she's trying to stay further away from the enemy at long range. That can be really useful. And you want to go for one dupe of her. We'll also briefly talk about her weapon. Let me go ahead and pull that up. I think I just bumped the entire camera. So her weapon is called Bittersweet Caramel. I love how they're going with the coffee shop kind of vibes. It's pretty cool. So it's a rifle that deals heavy damage, as rifles do, has that long range. It says the description says a high performance rifle assigned to Makiatto based on the W2000. It has undergone countless adjustments to achieve ultimate precision and power. Makiatto wields this weapon to break through all obstacles, infused simmering emotions into each bullet. Okay. Getting a little dramatic here. So basically, again, looking at information we have from the Chinese server, it's going to ignore part of the enemy's defense, and then also give them an ice damage debuff. So just going to have her deal more damage. This doesn't look like a must pull. Very much like Suomi, it's kind of like a nice to have, and you really want to focus on that one extra dupe instead of pulling for the weapon. But since she is a DPS, any extra damage is going to be valuable. So if you do have the resources and you're going all in on the ice idea, you probably want to pull for the bittersweet caramel. But just I would say that is a secondary priority if you're trying to kind of manage your resources. Lastly, we can take a quick look at her keys. She's got a fixed key that says additional intelligence. When the active skill cold precision shot results in a kill, gain 1 point of confectious index. Again, more confection index generation can be handy. Also, she has the one that gains 3 points of confection index at the start of the battle. This one might be more worthwhile. This one's pretty much good on any unit that you put that on. She has another one that says after using the active skill professional tactics, if there are no other allied units within 3 tiles, gain 1 stack of lone wolf. And when using lone wolf, cold precision shot, or professional tactics over a freeze tile, so somehow you can make those tiles icy. You've probably again seen that a lot with Suomi. Cleanse all freeze debuffs from self and gain 3 tiles of additional movement. That's pretty cool. I kind of like the idea of that. And then another one, at the start of the battle, applies murderous intent to the enemy unit with the highest HP. And then another one increases attack by 10% at the start of the battle, more DPS. This effect lasts until HP drops below 100% for the first time. So this one's a little more risky to use. Again, you're trying to keep her at long range, so you can keep that damage, but it's, you got to really play your strategy correctly to be able to take full advantage of that. And then the last one, the common key, is called Survival Instincts. At the start of the action, if own HP is greater than 80%, reduces stability damage taken from attacks by 2 points. That's pretty major. That is really, really good. This can trigger at most once per turn. So, what would I recommend using as far as equipping keys? I think, we'll have to test and see how things actually go. I think the one that if you kill the enemy, you get the confection index increase will probably be good, because just more generation of confection index is really, really good. And then the one that you just start out with 3 confection index is also really, really good. So I'd probably go for those 2 for sure. And then, that the last common key is going to be maybe a little hit or miss, but if you can play her right, I think also going to be really valuable. All right, let me know if you are planning to pull for Makiatto. She's definitely a really, really strong DPS unit. Sorry for the less than great quality of this video, kind of doing it on the fly here, and just wanted to get the info out. I'm probably skipping her, okay? So that's my own personal recommendation, because I am going to be saving for Klukai, or Kluke. I think it's Kluke, probably. I mentioned her in a members only video that I did yesterday, so keep that in mind. She's going to be a crazy DPS and has an excellent design as well. And I also have Mosin Nagant. Now, Mosin Nagant is probably pretty inferior, but just I'm trying to fill the different roles here. So just keep that in mind. Look at your account and what you're trying to focus on. All right. Yeah. Let me know. Give me your feedback on this unit, what you think of her, and if you're planning to pull for her. Subscribe for more Girls Frontline 2 videos, and I'll catch you guys in the next video or stream.